Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In this video today, we are going to be taking a look at Harmony One, specifically talking about the price action and what might happen next. If you find this video useful and informative, hit the like button, really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done and out of the way, let's actually jump down into the charts, take a look at what's going on here with Harmony One. Okay guys, so we're going to start things off like we usually would with the weekly chart for a weekly chart update. Now, it's been a little while since we've spoken about Harmony One, but we can just quick recap: wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So we are following Elliott theory, and basically these are 5 impulsive moves to the upside. Okay, this basically started back in March of 2020. Wave 1 peaking around August time. We had the lows of wave 2, I think it was around like November, December of 2020. Then we started the new year in a very strong way with wave 3, really hitting that nice wave 3 high. Pulling back for wave 4, going up into wave 5, setting new all-time highs, and a slight pullback since then, along with the rest of the crypto market. Now, Bitcoin is leading the way. And we have spoken quite a bit about Bitcoin manipulation, how Bitcoin seems to be having its support and resistance levels controlled at very specific price points, and it's following a very specific pattern. Okay, so once that manipulation is over, I think the rest of the market will be free to continue its motion to the upside. But you do see this kind of pullback right here, a very significant one. And most of the space has been, pretty much on par with this. It's not unusual for Harmony One to have seen this 64% drop. That 64% drop is pretty much in line with what we have seen with other cryptocurrencies as well, Cardano, for example. Okay, so it is pretty much in line. It's nothing specific to one, which is a good thing because it means that basically, Harmony One is pretty much tracking exactly the same way as the rest of the crypto space. Okay, so what else can we see here on the weekly chart? Well, we have our upward trend line still holding strong. Okay, and basically this is an area that was previously resistance just here. We had the breakthrough in the test to turn it into a support line, and then we test it as a support over here. This is a really strong support line that's actually tracking since February of 2020, and it hasn't been broken yet. Okay, so this is an interesting trend line to continue tracking and see how we kind of perform with that. The other things to bear in mind is we're about 437% from our current price to where we anticipate things going by the end of the bull run, a 4.236 extension at 96 cents. Okay, so again, this is a very small kind of price proposition now, considering it is currently trading at 17.8 cents. And, we only see it going up to about 96.5. Okay, so it's 437% to come in this bull run. Now, we might overextend on that, but this particular chart here, or this particular price prediction, I guess, is a trend-based price prediction, which basically means it takes a look at the pullback here, it takes a look at the push that we had to the upside here, and it takes a look at this pullback here. When you take all of that into consideration, it predicts out 96.5 cents for this leg here. Okay, so it's kind of technical, and it's just mathematics in terms of how it calculates that based on what has happened previously. Now, obviously, this prediction can, not come in. It could overextend. It could fall short, depending on what fundamentally happens in the space, right? Harmony One might do something absolutely fantastic that leads it to do so much more than 96.5. Likewise, they do something absolutely awful that sees people leave the protocol and just leave it and completely it dies, right? And as a result, it doesn't get to 96.5. Okay, lots of things could happen. We could also see an entire financial system collapse, stock market collapses, crypto collapses, and nothing reaches their targets, right? There's lots of things that happen outside of the charts that do have an impact. But if everything continues the way that it has been, then actually this is the most probable area that it's going to end up. Okay, it's good to know this. Now, the other thing about this weekly chart that's really important is the Stochastic Rsi. We can see that we're oversold here, we're oversold here, we're oversold here, and we're oversold right now. What do these actual things mean? Well, when you actually marry up this oversold area, it's the bottom of wave 1. This area here was the bottom of wave 2. This area here was the bottom of wave 4. And this area is where we are right now. What's happened every single time after we've actually had these oversold positions kind of come in, well, we've seen a spike to the upside here. We saw a spike to the upside here. We saw a spike to the upside here, and we are going to see a spike to the upside here. So am I selling my Harmony 1 at these discounted rates? No. Am I accumulating Harmony 1 at these discounted rates? Yes. Okay, so it's important that we understand, you know, when to buy, when not to buy. And on this weekly chart, this is actually looking like a pretty good proposition for beginning of 2022. Okay, again, we can just take a look at the bottom of wave 2. It was the beginning, or exactly the 1st of January 2021, that basically everything went green after being kind of held down here at the bottom in November and December. Okay, so we have a good understanding of this weekly chart. It's looking pretty bullish and it's looking pretty good. Lots of upside to come here with Harmony 1. Right, let's actually jump down into our daily. Now, the daily chart shows us a little bit more of the detail of what's actually been going on in the space, okay? So we do have the cup and handle pattern. We actually went up and set new all-time highs at 38 cents, okay? We can see that just on here. We had 38 cents exactly. I don't like the exact numbers, but you can understand why that would be. Right, and basically the cup and handle, and then we started to see ourselves come back down, which is perfectly fine. Now, what we saw here was a very natural correction. There's several things kind of going on. On the bigger scale, we have this. We have the big A, B, and C. This would probably be forming on a 3-day chart, and it'd be a lot clearer on a 3-day chart. A little bit of noise in here. In fact, you can kind of see these daily moves in here as well, with an A, B, C of themselves, okay? This is usually what happens when there's waves within waves, and, you know, depending on the timelines that you're looking at. But you can see on the bigger scale here that you had this big ABC move to the downside. But what is forming right now? This is potentially on the cusp of an ABC up, right? I mean, this is a bigger time scale again. A, B, and we wait for the C. The question then becomes, how high does it actually go? Then you could argue that actually here was your A, here was your B, and here was your C. The only issue with that, it would be an incredibly short C wave when the time you actually measure this out. If we take that A wave just there and we move this up to where it should go, that C wave should have been up here, okay? So I think it's important that we understand that either this here is the bottom of our B wave, which we can leave it as a bottom of a B wave, and our expectation of a C wave comes in at about 22.8 cents. Okay, so we understand that that's kind of where that's kind of going. Now I'm going to just make this look a little bit neater, and I'll pull that out like so. Okay, so we end up with this ABC push to the upside. We are currently tracking this to the upside at the moment, but there is lots of volatility. We can see that we are coming out of the oversold area on our daily stochastic RSI. So again, we are looking to try to push up quite in a pretty good way, right? But there are some barriers of entry, and I do think that we are going to continue to see some volatility here until we get through the last part of this year and get into 2022. Okay, so I'm going to quickly remove this, and I'm going to quickly remove this. So we understand that there is this kind of idea of a big push to the upside, taking us into that 22 cent area. Right, let's actually jump down into our hourly chart. Again, getting into that micro detail of things. Here we can see the ABC up. So obviously we've spoken about what's going on over this side. Again, I'll draw it in, even though we've got more detail. We have that ABC kind of idea, right? We haven't seen it come in yet. Okay, so that idea of an A up here, a B down here, and a C wave that takes us into that 22.8 cent zone, okay, just up here. Now, what we've actually seen is a very significant pullback. And again, you can see here that if we take a look at it on a smaller time scale, you have an A wave, a B wave, and we're waiting for that C wave, right? But again, inside all of these waves, there are additional waves that we have to consider. Okay, here you can see that we had the ABC down, and then a really small ABC up with an ABC down, right? Now, that's quite unusual. A lot of people might count that as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, except wave 4 crosses wave 1, so it invalidates it. It makes it a little bit messy. So actually, it's more of a 1, 2, and 3, or an ABC with another ABC at the end of it. Again, you can call this multiple different things, X, Y, Z, whatever. Try to keep it simple for you guys. So what does this actually mean right now? Well, there's a lot of noise going on here. So for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of these larger timepieces that we don't need to necessarily know. It's important that we understand that this is something that we are looking for. We are looking to try to get into that 22.8 cent zone. And in order to get there, we are going to start to see a pullback, okay? I'm going to remove this this larger piece here. I'm just going to get rid of that one to clear it up a little bit more. So now we end up with this idea of an ABC here with another ABC move. Now, what's really important is the hourly stochastic RSI is completely oversold. So we're going to be pushing up. Now, there are a few things that are concerning me with this particular area right now. First of all, there's not a clear B and C wave in here. This just looks like an A, which means we are moving up for a B and down for a C. Okay, so if this is the bottom of our A wave, we can kind of get a good estimate as to where things are likely to go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab hold of this. And you can see, actually, I just put that instinctively on that 786. We could be looking at 18.7 or 19 cent before we get the reversal. I'm going to be conservative and just throw that down there at 18.7. Okay, so if we actually have this now, raise the stochastic RSI up, bring the price up to 18.7 before bringing it back down, how low does it go in that C wave? I almost got it right here. It would be about 16.8 cent, and that's the most probable area. Okay, so I'm now going to quickly remove the fib so you can now get an idea of what's actually looking likely to occur next when it comes to Harmony 1. Now, this could actually be forming of an ABC down as a B wave, because this C wave is higher than the beginning of our A wave with this move here. Got to bear in mind that our target was 22.8 cent, right? So what actually is going on a slightly larger time frame is this is an A wave, this is a B wave, and then you end up with that C wave. Okay. Now, if you actually measure the distance of this A wave here, and you were to go ahead and put this on top of that C wave, this is only going to take you out to about 20 cent unless we go impulsive up. Okay, going higher than this 1.382 would trigger an impulsive move to the upside. So again, we'll pop that there for now, and we could see a minor correction before we continue that swing to the upside. But right now, everything's actually looking pretty good for Harmony 1, with the expectation of setting these higher lows on this continued journey to the upside. And I know a lot of people tend to like trend lines. I'm not a huge fan, but again, you can draw these on and you get an idea here that we are drawing a pretty decent upward trend, and also potentially a downward trend here as well. Okay, this actually forms in a triangular wedge, which we haven't actually measured out either, but we could be looking at something pretty interesting for Harmony. Something that we have seen before, right, when we start to analyze this kind of motion space. If I actually zoom on back out, you saw something like this over here, where we were tracking up and tracking down at the same time. This actually is called a Elliott wave triangle, A through E, and then you end up with this huge impulsive move. This actually took us to 38 cent before getting that pullback. Okay, now if that does form out over here, Harmony 1's going to be in a pretty interesting position. So for example, we'd have this as our A wave, our B wave, our C wave, our D wave, an E wave kind of coming in at the completion of this C. And then we get that trigger to the upside, okay? And again, that would be potentially an impulsive move out of here. And so that's where I'm saying when we actually take this out into that 22 cent zone, that 22.8 area, this would be an impulsive move. So it wouldn't be an ABC move here. Instead, what you'd end up with would be a 1 through 5, okay? And again, that could take it significantly higher. So interesting stuff does lie ahead here for Harmony 1. There's interesting patterns that are forming and lots of waves inside waves inside waves. Hopefully I didn't make this too confusing. I think ultimately we are looking to push up before we pull back. We're looking at that low area of 16.8 cent, which will be an incredibly low area in line with our upward trend line and in line with an E-wave correction move, which could take us to significant heights afterwards. So that could be the last opportunity to dollar cost average a pretty good position before we actually start taking this out into the new year in a really strong way. And again, we are probably tracking this over the next couple of days, seeing how that one kind of plays out. Do expect some volatility as you kind of get out past the resistance of 21 cent. But otherwise, I think Harmony 1's days of volatility will be coming to a close very, very soon. So guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.